Hello everyone, it's welding vlog number 9, going by quickly. Just not long got back, from my course, and had to finish early because the gas bottle or gas supply to all the students ran out. Instead of on 20 bar, it was on 5, so like no one was welding with enough gas for shielding. Yeah, that's correct. That's the bit I need to show you. Okay, so let's sit down. I'm exhausted, but I've had a good evening. I've had a very tiring day. As you may have seen in the previous video, Connie, the Rover 75, passed her MOT, which was brilliant. Very pleased about that. So what did I do today? Well, I was requested to re-weld or redo some pieces of metal or types of welding from when I started. So you've got the T-piece like that, and then you've got, not T-piece, that's a V-shape. What am I talking about? Corner piece. So you use a magnet, of course, and you put the two plates together, tack them, and then weld between. So I did about 5 pieces, which works out of 10 plates, and the tutor came over and he had a look at them. And the way my brain works when I'm doing these welds, I'm never really truly pleased with what I'm doing. So I think I'm being overly critical of my work. So he took away 3 pieces shaped like this, and this is what I did this evening. So that weld across the top there, you can see the heat bloom is wider there than it is here, but still it's a very smooth weld. It's not lumpy like when I first started. And on the inside you've got a little bit of penetration coming through, only a small amount, but it's there. But it's only like 1 or 2 mil, if that. It could be a mil actually, so it's not a lot coming through there. So yeah, he took away a few pieces, put my name on them, and he also asked me to do some lap welds. I didn't bring home a piece of that because I didn't really see the point. I've already got, I've done plenty of that, and I didn't really see the benefit of bringing one of them home. So after I'd done a load of those, the lap welds I wasn't happy with, which is where I'm being overly critical. I was speaking to one of the other students, and he came over and he basically said, well, you're obviously being overly critical of your ability. So I kind of looked at it and thought, yeah, I kind of am. I think that was born out of when I was welding TC the first time and being overly critical and wanting my welds to be better. So I think sometimes when you're doing something like this, you're always trying to improve, you're always trying to better what you're doing, and you kind of expect yourself to do more than what you're doing. So it's an unfortunate side effect, unfortunately. But anyway, I was going to move on because we went for a lunch break around 7 o'clock, and I came back because I wanted to do the 3 runs, the 3 welds. I don't know if I showed you that one, I can't really remember. Anyway, so I got 3 of these plates, and they are quite sizable compared to the other ones. So I think that's like 3 mil thick, and as you might be able to see on here, there's lots of dots, and you can also see long rectangles. So the idea is to start at one end there and work along. And the reason you put the punch marks in, because that's what they are, they're punch marks. When you're welding, the light from the arc shines onto the next dimple or the next punch. So I sat and did 3 of these things, and the time it takes to mark out these, I could have welded 10 of them. So it takes longer to prep them than it does to actually weld them. It's crazy. But I said to the tutor, I said, look, do you mind if I take them home and I'll bring them back in the new year, because we're not due back until the 7th now. So this is going to be the last welding vlog for a couple of weeks until we go back to college, because obviously Christmas is in the way. So, and New Year, of course. We don't want to, go to college in New Year. But he gave us some homework. So he gave us this booklet to it's kind of a booklet, I suppose. It's got quite a few pages in it, but it's metal active gas shielded welding. So he's given us a lot to read, which I won't go through. There's quite a bit here, and I don't want to bore you guys to death. But there's a lot to do with gases, arcs, brightness. You're going to look safety, the valves, metal thicknesses. I'm just literally dropping in and just reading bits. Here we go, as we go. Operating characteristics, electrode wire, power source. There's a lot in here to read, and he's given us a load of questions. So I've got to read up and then answer these questions. And a lot of them are pretty straightforward, I've got to be honest with you. So I'll read the questions, and there are 18 of them. So feel free to, drop in some answers if you feel like it down below. MIG welding questions. Number 1. Name 4 safety hazards, things that can potentially harm you associated with MIG welding. 2. What potential injuries could occur if you or others are exposed to the electric arc? 3. What measures can prevent these injuries? 4. Name 3 types of fire extinguisher and the type of fire they tackle. Name 5 items of PPE that should be worn whilst welding. 6. Name 2 types of welding fume. 7. Name 3 different types of protection available to prevent these fumes from harming the operator. 8. Identify the components and controls of a MIG welding set. 9. What type of welding current does MIG welding use? 10. What polarity is the torch and work? 11. State 3 consumables used in MIG welding. 12. State 3 variables that can be adjusted in MIG welding by the operator. 13. State 2 causes of burn back onto the contact tip. 14. How to safely remedy a contact tip burn back. 15. How to safely change a reel of wire. 16. Name 4 different types of metal transfer across the arc in MIG welding. 17. What is the main function of the gas used in MIG welding? And number 18. Name 4 types of weld defect and how each can be avoided. So that's all 18 questions. So that doesn't quite finish today's operations. The tutor, I was talking to him not long after we started, and I mentioned to him that my workbench in the shed is wood, and I want to get a metal one, I want to make one. And he'd made one to go in his workshop, so students can use it. And he just made it out of scrap box section, tubing. So he said, well, we're replacing all the workbenches in the welding booths for the students. So he said, there's one there, you can have it if we want it. It's like, seriously? So, yeah, definitely. So we managed to take it apart, put it in my boot, and it's downstairs. So thanks for watching. Cue the video at the end. Yeah, thanks for watching. He gave me a workbench. I've got to get the top piece, but yeah. Thanks for watching. See you later. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. This is the bench that my tutor gave to me, because they're basically replacing all of the benches. So, I said to him that I had a wooden bench, which is in the shed, which you've seen before. And when it gets wet in there, the bench gets rotten eventually. So he's given me this. It needs a new plate on top, because normally I've got an extra plate on the top there. But the one that was on there was so buckled and warped due to the heat that it was no good. So I'm going to grind all this down, clean it all up, and see if I can get myself a new metal plate to go on the top. There's a few buckle bends and stuff in it, but overall it's really good. And that's the base of it. So it needs a couple of extra bolts just to strengthen the legs. But honestly, a free bench, cannot argue at that.